Thank you for listening to REED-BBS.
REED-BBS. BBS. Tyson Fury versus Francis Ngannou. The fallout to this bout is immense. It's multi-layered, and it will encompass more than just one video. Just warning you now. But let me start by eating crow. I couldn't have been more wrong about this one. Now, I knew Francis Ngannou could punch. I've seen the bulk of his mixed martial arts career. But if I did 4 or 5 Fury Ngannou videos, 4 or 5 different times, I emphasized the gloves, the difference in the 4-ounce fingerless mixed martial arts gloves versus the 10-ounce boxing gloves, and how I knew and predicted it would greatly impact the power of Francis Ngannou. More on that in a sec, but all respect in the world to Francis Ngannou. He was no fish out of water. No, sir. He was no fish out of water at all. At all. And Francis Ngannou, he belongs. He's earned a spot in today's heavyweight boxing mix, unquestionably. But getting into the event itself and the fight, there was pomp, circumstance, bells, whistles, you name it. It was all of the above. All of the above. Singers, rappers, musicians, flag bearers, laser light shows, you name it. It was a little bit of everything. It was opening ceremonies. And what it all speaks to is the depths of them Saudi Arabian pockets. That money is long and strong in Saudi Arabia. I'm talking millions, billions. They got more than enough zeros to put behind any dollar amount. Everybody has a price, and Saudi Arabia has everybody's price. Everybody has a price. Saudi Arabia can pay everybody's price. It really is like that. But as for the fight itself, Fury, he's grown accustomed to the slapping, reaching. People call it a left hook. It's more just an extension. He's kind of just reaching his left out there to touch you before he fires his right hand. He was doing that in the first round a little bit. Fury was bleeding. It was either from a headbutt. I thought it was actually from an uppercut when they were in the clinch. Him and Fury got close. Him and Ngannou got close. And they kind of clinched up. And Ngannou fired a right uppercut, which landed. Fury didn't like it. It was either that shot or a clinch of heads after that. But Fury had like a gash in the middle of his forehead, which bled momentarily. But the bleeding stopped very quickly. Fury from there switched stances periodically throughout the fight, and Ngannou even switched with him at times. By early round three, I credited Ngannou. I said, hey, he's giving a credible level of resistance. He's providing that, holding his own. You could hear the power in his shots as they landed to Fury's body, and you could hear the whiff of him as he just missed Fury with shots. And then out of nowhere, boom! He dropped Fury with a clubbing counter left hook as they were trading. Fury went in for that same. He touched Ngannou with his left hand, fired the right, and as he fired the right, Ngannou caught him with a clubbing counter left hook. Now back to the whole glove thing. So the counter left hook, first it grazed Tyson Fury's shoulder. So that took some of the power off of it before it clipped Fury high on the head. Again, that left hook hit Fury's shoulder first, which undoubtedly took some sting, some mustard off of that shot, before it clipped Fury high on the head and dropped Fury on his ass. All of that took place before. So to do that in a 10-ounce boxing glove, all I can do is applaud you. It's like that. I couldn't have been more wrong. I'll say it fucking again. So yeah, he drops Fury in the third to the surprise of everyone watching. Like, I was shocked. I was fucking shocked. In the fourth round, he landed a big right hand. His confidence couldn't have been any higher. And I attribute that to, like, Ngannou was very basic. He relied on his chin. He knew he would be stronger in the clinch than Fury. He was way stronger than Fury. He took everything Fury could throw at him, and he believed truly in his own power and his chin. I think the basic nature of Francis's approach was confusing Fury. Like, boxing ignorance is bliss. So Francis didn't occupy his mind with thoughts of what Fury could or should do to him. Francis came in focused on his game plan, and he executed it masterfully. I mean, he was barely missing Fury with bombs to where I'm like, man, get the fuck out the way, bro. What are you doing? That's how I'm talking to my fucking phone watching this fight. He was flinging Fury across the ring in round 4 at one point. And Fury, it got to a point, Fury eventually, after the knockdown and recovery in the 4th, he found his rhythm, but very slowly. He started working his way back into it. He saw more of the bounce, the feints that we're accustomed to from Fury, the talking, the footwork, dancing about the ring and such. He eventually got to that. And real quick, shout out to the homies at FightBeat.com. Can you step to this? Got to give FightBeat credit for 2 of the funnier post-fight quotes I've read thus far. The homie Diesel said Fury was uncoordinated, lunging in and staggering about, looking like a melted vanilla milkshake. And then the homie Punk, who actually owns FightBeat, he also goes by the alias Juan El Fuego. He said Fury was relying on his jiggling breasts and wobbling gut to befuddle Ngannou. Only your FightBeat. Can you step to this? But make no mistake, Ngannou, he was a legit threat throughout. He had Fury's left eye swelling on the side by the end of the fight. Fury, all night he seemed stuck between crowd pleasing, trying to get a little payback after being dropped, and risking getting knocked the fuck out in front of probably the biggest crowd he will have ever faced. But yeah, Ngannou showed a great beard, man. His own mouth was bleeding a little bit from jabs and whatnot that he was eating. He even attempted a Superman punch in the 10th and final round, just to give you a clear indication of just how comfortable he got in that ring, in the fight. The final scores were 95-94 for Ngannou, 95-94 for Fury, and 96-93 for Fury. A split decision. I liken this fight to the Devin Haney-Lomachenko fight. No, there was no knockdown in Haney versus Lomachenko, but I compared in the sense that Fury, like Devin Haney, won the boxing match, whereas Ngannou, like Loma, won the event. Everyone's talking about Ngannou in the aftermath. People think a little bit less or a lot bit less of Fury in this case. People think a little less of Dev after the fight with Loma. Ngannou won the fight in terms of inflicting pain and punishment and the ooh-wee shots where the crowd is gasping. That was Ngannou. He won that aspect and he won the event. Fury, after getting dropped, he resorted to point fighting. He knew, hey, I got to play this safely to ensure this next order of business, which I'll get into in a second, can't even come to fruition. But yeah, it was like fencing without stabbing. You know the sport of fencing, where they're not going for kill shots, just poking each other. That's what this was. Ngannou was awkward. He made Fury lead. And Fury likes to, he's the lineal champion, the man who beat the man, who beat the man, who beat the man. Well, that man got knocked on his ass by a 0 boxing match having MMA guy. Fury's arrogance lost this fight. His arrogance lost this fight. Before the bout, in some articles I read, he's like, I really look in the mirror and think I'm a genius. Once I'm done with boxing is fucked. When you start to think like that, you're fucked. And the game has a way of humbling you. And that's exactly what happened to Tyson Fury's ass. Karma beat Tyson Fury. Karma beat him. He walked away with his O intact and his lineage, but his stock is going down majorly. To the point where, okay, yeah, you got the Usyk fight scheduled for the 23rd. You may have taken too much damage to go through with that one on the 23rd. And, to be blunt, Francis Ngannou's next move is way more interesting than Fury versus Usyk. It just is. Biggest punch in all of combat sports. That's how Ngannou has been billed. So with that, let's see Ngannou versus fucking Deontay Wilder. How about that? That's Foreman versus Lyle all over again, only shorter. Let's make that. Or Ngannou versus Joshua. Ngannou versus Ruiz. We want to see Ngannou versus whoever. And I guarantee you, somewhere sitting out there, Dana White is kicking himself in the motherfucking ass in both cheeks for letting Francis Ngannou leave his company. Just let him walk, because you didn't want to pay him on some greedy ass shit. But now look at Francis Ngannou on top of the combat sports world. REED-BBS, BBS. Blackbird Sugar, Bachelor's in Boxing Studies. Television, Fred Sanford of the District Arts. When all is said and done, there's nothing left to say or do.